Okay, it is 3 p.m. Eastern, and I know everyone has very busy schedules. We only have a half an hour together today for this. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hi everyone, my name is Cal Marquise. I work for a company called Bywater Solutions and wearing my shirt today so everyone can see it. One of the open source products that we support is called Aspen Discovery. And a module within Aspen Discovery that we have is called Web Builder. And that's why we're all gathered here today to look at. So today I will be doing an overview of the features and functionality within Web Builder. And really, I have the easy job of showing off how libraries are using these features. So we'll be sharing some links within the chat. I'm joined by Kelly and Bill, also on our Bywater or Aspen Discovery team. So if you have any questions throughout, primarily I'm going to be sharing my screen and showing you a lot of great sites. But if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in chat. And they'll also be sharing the URLs. We'll also share out the slides that I share, and again, we'll share out the URLs afterwards as well. So you'll have a lot of good inspiration after today. Okay, so the first thing, I'm doing more of like a demo today of like the examples. I'll touch a little bit on the back end, but if you did want to look more in depth at setting these things up, I will just want to point out that last month we did something called Aspen Academy, where we went in and we did more of like all the back end and how you can set these things up. So I did just want to share a quick link out to that recording. If that's, you joined today thinking that's what you're going to get, there is a recording on that page. So I just wanted to share that out before we got started. All right, so let me share my screen. And hey, that's me. Okay. All right, so let's jump in. If you've been to any of these before, usually we start out talking about our very favorite things, which are Aspen Discovery goals. Just a quick recap of what these are. We're always looking at these things when we think about the different features, the different developments, the setup, even the implementation of Aspen. So ideally, we want to maximize usage of all of your library materials. Libraries offer so many wonderful things, special collections, digital resources, events. You'll see a lot of these things highlighted today with this Web Builder feature. We also try to make your search within your catalog be a one-stop shop. So being able to even index and search these pages that you create, being able to have one search bar and ideally be able to search all your different collections, whether that be digital, maybe your archives, your events. We want this to be really easy for our patrons. Intuitive things that they're already really familiar with, like, hey, Google searching or using Netflix or using Hulu. And then we want it to be really easy for our library staff. Working in libraries for about 8 years before I joined Bywater, got very accustomed to other duties as assigned. So we want to make sure that anything that you're doing within Aspen is very easy. I do not have any code knowledge. I am not like into HTML or CSS or JavaScript, but I can set up a really nice looking web builder page or a lot of these features within web builder that we're going to look at. So I think it's really great for all levels of users. So what is Web Builder and what does it have to offer? So I've kind of outlined some of the different features within the Web Builder module. The first thing, and maybe what it's most commonly associated with, are pages. We have two different types of pages within Aspen. We have something called basic pages, and then we have something called custom pages. So what's a basic page? And I have another slide on this a little bit more in depth, but a basic page is really kind of what it sounds like. It's a very simple, I like to think about that as maybe like some text, some images, some hyperlinks, maybe like an about us, mission, vision, something like that. A custom page is going to allow you to make a little bit more complex page. There's a lot of different things that you can embed into those pages. And we see libraries create these for all different types of uses. A lot of times they're trying to highlight maybe library information, like their resources or their services, special collections, or we see a lot of like targeting specific age groups, which we'll look at today. Another one that we have is something called forms. So think of a very like a form like a Jot form or like a Google form in its kind of simplest sort of form. So creating surveys, maybe sign up forms, even like agreements to use maybe like your makerspace or to check out certain collections. The beauty of both of these things, or a lot of these things that we're going to look at today, is that they're hosted within your library catalog. So what I mean by that is instead of having to link out to Google and Google Forms get your traffic, or Jotform or one of those other third-party type vendors, you're driving the traffic to the form that's hosted within your library catalog. So all of these different like pages and forms and things that we're going to look at, the URL will be your catalog URL. So I think that's really nice from a marketing perspective that you're driving people to your library catalog. A few other features that we have something called quick polls. Quick polls is a great way to just get like quick community engagement to asking them a question. Who doesn't love to fill out a survey or like give out their opinion? So we'll look at an example of this today. But maybe you just want to have a fun survey to see what your library community's favorite genre is, or have them vote on the next Library of Things thing that you purchase. Just, it's a really great way to add a little fun and like interactive engagement within your library catalog. We also have something called web resources. I think if I had to choose one, I would say that this is my personal favorite. This kind of does double duty within your catalog. Not only is it a directory of everything that you have to offer, while it is called web resources, I think the best use for this type of feature isn't limited to just your library resources. This can really be a directory of any trusted resource that you would like to direct your community out to. So maybe it's a library partnership or some community help resources that you want to promote. It can be really anything. The other thing that is really magical about this is that once you create these web resources, Aspen will also index them and they will become discoverable within your catalog. So what I mean by that is if you did have a resource related to like homework help, for example, and I was searching for homework just in the general catalog, it would actually appear that resource within the Explore More box. So we'll look at that on an actual live site in a bit, but I just think that's really, really cool. So it's meeting your users where they are. A couple last things with the web builder. We have a directory. So the feature is actually called staff members, but I am going to show off somebody's page, and I actually saw that they're maybe in the room as a participant, so maybe they'll get surprised with this example. But this is traditionally it's used as a staff directory. So hey, I'm Cal Marquez, I work at Bywater Solutions. Here's my email address. That libraries can create for their staff. But a really great use case, which I'm going to show you today, is where they took it and sort of combined like their departments and also a little bit of FAQs. So I really like that usage of it. So it's a quick way to spin up a directory of information. And then finally, you can host images and PDFs right within Aspen. So things like uploading an activity sheet or book club questions or your policies and procedures or any type of other paper form that you want to put in a digital format. Again, you're driving your traffic and the URLs to your library catalog, so they're actually hosted in your library catalog. A very common question I get is, but Cal, what's our limit on how many PDFs I can upload? And I will just say, we have never reached it, so I don't know. But you can upload a ton of different content within Aspen, so it's really wonderful. All right. A little bit more in depth on splitting out those basic and custom pages before we actually get to look at some examples of them. So basic is a text editor, which I'll show you in a second. And it's really just getting down just like text, maybe a few hyperlinks and some images. Where a custom page, you can kind of get a feel for all the different things that you can embed. So lots of other pieces of like Aspen, for example. So you can embed things like your library hours and location information that you've already set up. You can embed PDFs that you've already uploaded. You can embed any like forms or polls that you've made. Really neat things libraries have done with embedding iframe code. So iframe code can be generated from like a Google Calendar. Canva has really awesome iframe code generation. So you could take this PowerPoint, for example, and it would generate code for you, and you could embed that directly onto your library catalog with Web Builder. So there's like infinite possibilities just with that feature alone. Of course, things like videos, Vimeo and YouTube videos, they'll embed directly into your those pages, those custom pages. And then with that text editor box, I just like to call it out because not only is it within those custom pages and also basic pages, but actually Aspen has these all throughout. We know how much libraries love adding signage and messaging different places, and Aspen has made it really, really easy to do that. So within things like system messages and placards, holds notices, you're going to find these boxes all throughout. I'm trying to think like self-registration, materials requests. So this just makes it really easy for users of all levels. Like I said, I am not advanced at this at all, like really with any HTML code, and you can still make really beautiful things. This editor is called WYSIWYG, which just means what you see is what you get. So it really steers you when you're adjusting the fonts and the sizes and the colors and the images. It's almost like giving you that preview within the box. So within these, you can do the formatting like I mentioned. Hey, we even have emojis, which is great. You can make tables, upload images. If you are one of those more advanced users or just have a little bit of comfort with HTML, in the top left corner, you can insert or add your own HTML as well. So it's not limiting in any sense either. It's just if you don't know that or want to mess with that, you don't have to. And that really just makes it very easy at entry level to spin up these basic and custom pages. All right, so I'm going to actually leave the presentation for a minute and start looking at some real examples. So I'm going to start with basic and custom pages because I think, like I said, those are what people are most looking for when they're looking at Web Builder, but we'll look at a number of different features as well. So one thing I wanted to show you is the basic page. So a basic page in this case, kind of as I described, some text, some basic formatting with some bullets, some hyperlinks out to their local newspapers, and then we have an image. So, I mean, this could have been made in just a couple minutes. Very easy using that text editor box just to promote their newspapers. McKinney has a number of different pages as well. I just like some of their other pages to explore if you do go on here, but their genealogy and their newspapers especially, this would be a more custom page. So this has more things embedded, as you can see. So the other one, basic page, some text, some images, maybe some hyperlinks. Here you might see some more like embedded buttons and different sections. So that's kind of the difference on this page in what we would call a basic versus a custom. Now let's look at Meadville. This is probably my most used example. Here's another example here where here would be something called a basic page. So again, text, images about the library. They have their mission statement. They have their history versus what they're using as their actual homepage for their library would be a custom page. Now, Meadville is a unique case, or maybe not a unique case, but in this, in my examples here, they actually use Aspen as their entire web presence. So if you look at their URL, it's meadvillelibrary.org, but that's not going out to like a WordPress page or another type of web platform. This is their entire library website. So it is their library website and their catalog all in one. So all of their different pages that you look at, if you're exploring different pages here, they go out to different web builder functionality. So it's pretty cool. You don't have to do that. You can just create, one supplemental page or something like that. But I think it's really neat that they do use this. And we have a number of libraries using this as their homepage. So on the back end, instead of pointing to maybe on your catalog right now, you have browse categories set up. We can point it to a page of your choice. So when people go to your URL, it would direct them to a page of your choice. I really like Meadville's example. One, because they change every couple months, they change out these 4 different boxes here. They're usually uploading some very visually engaging images, and they're often promoting different special collections or special events at their library. And I think they just do a wonderful job with it. I also really like this example because this is one of those beginner examples that anyone could do. I will touch a little bit on the back end just so you can kind of see like how they're doing this, and you can see how maybe, okay, I can do this too, that this is. So the web builder feature for custom pages is built very much like an Excel spreadsheet. So if you can think of rows and cells, that is really the best, easiest way to describe what's happening here. So what they've done is they have a page that's divided in a row, and then it's broken down into 2 cells. And then it's divided into another row, broken down into 2 cells, another row, and so on. And then what they're doing is they're just going into each of those cells and they're putting in the different embed that they want. So they've designed this little square maybe outside of Aspen in a different design software. Then they're just plugging it into that square. They're pulling in other areas of Aspen, something called collection spotlights. That's like a book carousel, if you will. They're embedding that right into their page. They also have an events integration here as well. So they've created a upcoming events collection spotlight, and they're also featuring those. And this should look familiar to any Aspen libraries as well. This is the information that shows in your side menu. So a lot of this you've already probably created or set up, and you're just plugging in those different pieces on a custom page. So I think that this is like a really good example of seeing like what's possible and not too much effort to make a really nice, clean looking homepage. So I do have just like a screenshot back on my slides to show you what this looks like in the back end. But hopefully that's a good enough representation without me having to go back and forth on my screen. But as you can see, there's the row split into the 2 cells, another row split into the 2 cells, and another row. So very easy to do that and plug those in. All right, let's take a look at another wonderful example. Los Gatos, I see you. I love this, that you're promoting your summer reading program as well, right at the top with your theme. We always love to see how these themes change throughout the year. So they don't necessarily use Aspen as their entire web presence. They have a separate website, but they have created very specific tailored pages to different audiences. So in this case, we're looking at an adults program and services page. We'll also take a look at some of their other pages as well. So this would be a custom page. And again, if you start to think about those like rows and cells, and I'll show you what they're doing on the back end of this one as well, but just kind of plugging in different text into this cell. Another one of those collection spotlights here, highlighting related information that they want to feature this month. We have some resources, so they've embedded different images, and you can click on these to get more information. And they've even embedded an events calendar. So this is something, like I said, with the iframe code, it's really easy to do, either like presentations or images or things like calendars. You can embed those directly into the custom page. And I just took another screenshot of this so that we can see what it looks like. So again, just kind of plugging this data into the different cells. All right, they do have a couple other pages I just want to point out because they're just so darling. Here is their children's page. I do want to point out that they have some moving images, which is pretty neat. You can actually do this with your placards within Aspen, even your header within Aspen. So up here, it could be moving. But this is pretty neat. So Aspen supports GIFs or GIFs. We can battle out how that's supposed to be pronounced. But I just think it's so cute and how engaging for the little ones that this page is actually interactive and moving. But this is just another example of what they've curated with a custom page for their littlest users. So good information about their story times. They even have a little children's newsletter. That's so cute. Again, they have a calendar kind of tailored to maybe their events for kids. The last one that I'll show off for them, their teen page. So we're getting a little bit more mature here, but we'll see, again, just age really tailored to that age. So we've moved up to maybe student success, college prep, and they're really highlighting those things that might be the best for that age group. So again, another custom page with a row, some things embedded into that. All right. I was going to show off, I'm going to show off one more custom page, but I know we have about 10 minutes left and I want to show off all the features of Web Builder, but I cannot resist showing off this next one because the library embedded video games into the custom page. So I'm going to pop over a couple tabs to Payson Library's teen scene page. Again, we see little age-appropriate fun avatars for our teens, probably promoting some, things like graphic novels and new adult books for that age group. I also love their very visually engaging and age-appropriate banners that they've created and embedded. So for their upcoming teen programs, I think this is really great, just really visual engaging. They put these onto their page. We have some battles of the books. We're highlighting the video games that they have in their collection, which is really great. And then you can actually play games like Tetris, Galaga, Super Mario Brothers. How cool. So again, this is just a custom page. This library took this and ran with it, and I love it so much. It's so engaging, and what a great way to keep people on your library catalog and interacting with your library catalog. All right, so we'll be sure to send out all these links, and you can explore catalogs like Payson. They have one of these for each age group as well. We just don't have time to click through every single one and show off everything that they're doing. Okay, so let's pivot and look at some other things available with Web Builder. So we're going to leave pages even though they're beautiful. And I have another example in this tab, and this is for those custom forms. So I talked about custom forms and how they're great, similar to like a Google form or a Jot form, and that you can make them for really anything. So maybe a simple sign up is all that you need, or a survey, give us your catalog feedback. Let us know how summer reading programming was. Maybe you have, I don't know, just anything that you really want, a sign up sheet. So in this case, they have volunteering. So this is an example where users come in, they're filling that out. And then on the back end, you're able to view pretty much like an Excel spreadsheet and also download that information. So staff would be able to not only create, host, and manage any of the submissions that came through this form. These can also be embedded onto a page. So if you had, for example, a little survey that you wanted to show to your teen patrons, you could embed that on your teen page, and they could just fill it out right from there. This can also be hosted at its own URL. So this is their catalog URL/volunteer. So just a really nice use case for this, pretty easy to spin up, and they can have additional information about anything, policies and procedures, or anything else that's related to this custom form. All right, so let's see what's next. All right, this is my own one that I made, so it's not as beautiful, I will say, but this is a quick poll. So where that custom form had multiple questions, there were fields that were required, there were some like check boxes, there were short answer questions, a lot more maybe variety in the types of questions that were there. A quick poll is really one question that you're asking. So this is the fun, engagement, getting feedback from your library community one. So how about choosing your new library mascot? In this case, users are able to select if they want Ernie the ebook or Connie the computer, or you can even choose to allow them to submit their own option. That is something that you can toggle on and off. The other thing is you can allow them to see what other people have chosen. So you can almost show like a poll at the end to say like, oh man, like no one else chose mine, but it looks like Donnie the digital resource is winning. So it's kind of fun, and you can choose like how interactive you want your patrons to be with this. This can also be managed in the back end. So again, you're setting this up, you're hosting it, and you're also managing the submissions all within Aspen. Okay, here is my very favorite one. Next, web resources. Here we have the Hooksett library. This is our web resources. So first off, when you're creating web resources in Aspen, you'll get an automatically generated web resource list. So this directory of any resources that you put on the list. How this works is that when you upload and create whatever resource you're adding to this, you're going to give it a tag. So you're going to give it a category tag. These can fall under multiple categories, but as soon as you give it that tag, then these related menus would just automatically be generated. So it's going to put them into these tags or these buckets that you've chose for these different resources. You can also check a box, and those will automatically put these at the top for featured resources. So you can decide to, move these in and out if maybe like every 6 months I come in and I feature something new, or we just purchased this database or this resource, let's put it at the top. Or we have this new partnership, let's put it at the top. Just a checkbox and it will automatically move it to the top. Within any of these resources, you're going to get like 1 or 2 sentences about what it is. And then when you actually click into it, there can be a longer description, more information about, if you need a library card, if you need to sign in. It will also indicate the intended audience, and again, that same category tag. The other thing that's really great about this is that Aspen is going to start looking at all these words that you put into this directory. So you've created Cloud Library, you've given a little blurb about what it is. Aspen's going to start reading through all of those words. Then what it's going to do is if a user is just in your general catalog search, and let's say I search for something like maybe business. There's probably some for that. So I'm just in my regular catalog search, and I'm just going to search just like I would, keyword search in library catalog. Now, the first thing we see that we're not talking about today, but kudos to Hooksett, they've created a placard at the top of their library search. So again, we're not going to look at those today, but that's another really great way to integrate your library resources. What we are going to look at is down here in this Explore More box. So you'll see the Explore More box underneath the second result in your catalog if it finds any related information. So in this case, this is one of those web resources. So because you added it to Aspen and you created that directory, Aspen knows that if someone is searching for business, then maybe they might be interested in this Yale Business Insight. This Explore More box can also feature things like lists, if you have any events or archive, any other integrations. So they also have an archive. I don't think they have events, but it's also saying that there's others related to business. So I could click on this and I could get even more resources where it's getting a hit back from that business. So really great. It just does it automatically. It indexes those results. And if you noticed, it actually took me into a more detailed search. So I'm also able to search through any of those web pages, any of those basic or custom pages or web resources. You can actually have an entire search just to explore those resources. So really great tool. Next one, I know we're kind of running out of time. Staff directory. So Orem, I saw that you were in here. They've created this directory. Why I think it's so great is because not only does it have information about their departments, but they have also integrated FAQs into it. So if you're getting calls always about donating books and volunteering, you could actually have all this information right there. The final one to show you is hosting PDFs and images. And I'm just going to take you over to Deerfield for this. We have some marketing resources that we provide for both Aspen Discovery and Aspen Lita. And then you can take these templates and you can customize them. This is one of them. And what they've done is they've uploaded it as a PDF, as you can see in their URL, and they've linked it right on their catalog. So instead of creating your own like help resources or anything like that, you can use our template. They've adjusted it to their own colors, and then they uploaded it as a PDF into Aspen, and users are able to access it right there within their catalog. Now, before we go, let's Go back. I did just want to talk about one last thing. What's on the horizon? So I will say at Bywater, we're always looking at enhancements and improvements. We now have 4 full-time Aspen Discovery developers in-house, which is amazing. And we also have amazing partnerships with other organizations like PTSF Europe that are doing developments for Aspen. We also have a monthly Aspen release. Why I'm sort of teasing this with this is because I've heard some things about some enhancements or a new type of web builder being added to Aspen. And from what I've seen, it looks amazing. So I'm really hopeful that if not by end of this year, maybe next year, maybe I'll be giving another one of these talks on that new web builder functionality. We won't ever get rid of really anything that we support, but we'll add probably a second type of web builder into Aspen. And I'm very, very excited about that. All right. If wherever you found this today and you enjoy it, we always are giving these types of webinars every month on different topics. Jordan, next month in July, will be talking about event integrations with Aspen. If you want to scan this QR code, it will take you to a blog post of, I believe, the next 6 months of these webinars. I'm sorry I kind of ran out of time towards the end, but I hope everyone enjoyed seeing what everybody is doing with these amazing web builder features. And we'll end it today. I think Kelly will follow up with all of these URLs and these slides so that you can dive in some more on your own time. All right. Well, thank you so much.